Welcome and welcome back, both listeners and now viewers, to our YouTube station. My name is Timothy M. Sweet. I'm a family law attorney in the state of Rhode Island, and this podcast is called What Just Happened? Surviving the Family Court. We are trying to, one episode at a time and hope one listener at a time, get our listeners and viewers a bridge over the toxic swamp that can be the family court and get you to the other side intact, safe, and ready to move on with your life. And we do this by trying to break down some very complex, very difficult situations and topics and expose them to the light of day and make them more palatable and more understandable to you, so you know what you're in for, what your loved ones are in for, what your neighbor or friend or coworker is in for when he or she goes to the family court. I have an amazing team working on this with me behind the scenes. In charge, and the puppeteer is Patricia Raskin of Raskin Resources Productions. I thank her so much for spearheading this effort. I'm also being produced by Tony Jones of Tony Jones Omnimedia, and I have Guillermo Garcia of Pixels behind the camera. We are unbelievably at episode 9 of this podcast series already, and we're going to have a brief discussion about legal fees, and we're going to try to take some of the fear and stigma out of that and explain it to you from the lawyer's point of view, so that, again, you know a little bit before you walk into the attorney's office of your choosing when you finally found one you like. Because if there is one thing that husband and wife and mom and dad and every single other person going to family court is going to confront, no matter their age, their case, their facts, and that is attorney's fees. And there are more fun things to do and better things to do with your money than paying an attorney. That is for sure. So, episode 9, Legal Fees Explained. First, I want to have a very brief discussion on the fact that you should, as the consumer, you should shop around. It's probably true elsewhere in the country, but especially here in Rhode Island, you simply cannot stretch too far or throw a rock and not hit a half dozen attorneys. There's more legal advice than anyone would know what to do with in the great state of Rhode Island. If it's like that where you are, then you should, assuming you have the time, take the time, shop around, have long discussions with your attorney, get to know them a little bit as counsel and perhaps as parents of their own kids and as business people and as human beings, if you can find a lawyer who's also a human being, and get to know them before you decide that they are a right fit for you, especially in the family court, because the attorney-client relationship in the family court can be awfully strained. It can be difficult from the get-go if both attorney and client are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Some would say, and I would agree, that it should be difficult. There are very many very difficult discussions that the attorney and the client will have pretty much right off the bat and probably throughout the travel of the case. So first and foremost, shop around, find an attorney who's the right personality fit for your case and for you. And what does that mean, to be a personality fit for your case? Your case may be one in which very high level, very delicate diplomacy is necessary. There could be some very touchy subjects, and there could be some landmines that have to be navigated deftly. And so maybe you need more of a diplomatic approach, and you should consider an attorney who has that skill set. And on the other side, perhaps you feel as though you're being taken advantage of, and you need more of a monster of a lawyer who's extremely aggressive and will just have a shock and awe approach and will move forward on your case, no holds barred. The very different personalities, both are a perfect fit for their own cases. Both of those attorneys would be great in the right situation, but you have to make sure they're right for you. And once you find one of us who you get along with and you think would be a right personality fit for your case, you're going to have to pay them. Attorneys are paid, family law attorneys are paid either flat fee, in which you get the kick on the shin once, you pay a lot of money as a flat fee to your attorney, and then you guys never have to discuss it again. Or they can be paid in retainers, and retainers are just a little bit more complicated. So when you hire an attorney on a retainer fee, you should consider that retainer fee to be like a savings account. Imagine you set up a savings account, but your lawyer can dig his or her hands in there and do whatever they want. Well, there's some hyperbole there, but your lawyer will have access to that savings account, because a retainer account is actually kept in a separate bank account. That is your money, that is not your attorney's money. But as your attorney and their office works on your case, little by little, that retainer account will actually move from the retainer account, or the savings account, into the lawyer's own bank account. That's how the lawyer pays their employees and pays the rent and insurance and so on and so forth. Now, if you hire an attorney on January 1st and your case ends on April 1st, whatever is left in the retainer account, whether it's $1 or $100,000, that is your money. Whatever's left is yours. Because, again, it's like a savings account that you have both agreed upon beforehand. Anything that is unearned or unspent reverts back to you in a retainer. You should also know in the family court, we are ethically forbidden from taking on contingency fees. So what is a contingency fee? You see these often in personal injury cases where maybe somebody was crossing the street and a car ran over their foot and they broke a toe and they're owed some amount of money at the end of several months or several years of work. And after they get that sum of money, let's say X, then their attorney might get 25 or 30% of X. That's a contingency fee. You are not allowed in the state of Rhode Island to take a divorce case on a contingency fee. We can't say, well, if I divorce you, then I'll get this much or that much. They don't like, the powers that be do not like that as a public policy. You should always, always, always have a fee agreement with your lawyer's letterhead on it, so you have in writing and signed by both of you exactly what it's going to cost and what the hourly rate is if you're not working on a flat fee. That way both you and your attorney know exactly what you're getting into. So before you do anything else, this is going to be one of the larger decisions that you make, second, maybe third behind a car and a home. So you're going to want to take your time. You're going to want to shop around, meet with a lot of people, talk with a lot of people. If you have the time to do so, of course, have some very difficult, very frank discussions, because, again, it's all confidential. Shop around for the attorney who is a good fit for you and for your case, and these two are not always the same thing. Do not ask for a contingency fee in family court cases. You're going to be working on either a flat fee or retainer, and if it makes it any simpler for you, consider a retainer like a savings account with a set sum in there, but a savings account that your lawyer has his or her hands in. And hopefully that helps explain legal fees just a little bit, as one of the many headaches that we sometimes have as adults just coursing our way through life. Again, Timothy Sweet, family law attorney in the state of Rhode Island. This podcast, What Just Happened, Surviving the Family Court. We're trying to get you, the listener, or your loved ones through the family court from one side to the other, intact, happy, healthy, and ready to move on and convert into a happy, healthier life on the other end. Thank you so much to my amazing team behind the scenes. And episodes 10, 11, and 12, we're finally going to have a very candid discussion about child custody, about what judges are bound by in deciding who the child or children will live with, mom, dad, whether a grandparent can be involved, so on and so forth. We're going to break into the case law, the binding Supreme Court case law on child custody adjudications, and I think if I'm reading the tea leaves right, that'll probably be a 3-episode discussion. So we're going to finally broach the topic of child custody next in episode 10 and probably 11 and 12. Again, Timothy Sweet. And as always, we're looking for feedback. You can call me 401-595-1665. Always happy to get your call. Email me, timothymsweet@gmail.com, or you can find me, timothymsweetlaw.com. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.